Hey folks, it's Johnny Keeley here, welcome to the video. Now you've probably heard a lot of people say that if you want to grow on Instagram at the moment, the best way to do that is with Instagram Reels. But I would also say that not all Reels are born equal. In fact, I think a lot of people are just making Reels because they've heard that that's what they should do or it is a new feature. So quite simply in this video, I'm just going to give you a whole bunch of ideas and tips and tricks for Instagram Reels so that you can create better content, reach new people, gain those followers, and build a community around what you're doing. So the first mistake that you might be making is you might be creating content for TikTok, downloading it and putting it onto Instagram, and it might have that little TikTok watermark. Now, Instagram haven't said that they are reducing the reach of TikTok content, but they have said that your content shouldn't have any watermarks of any kind. So that's them kind of politically saying, don't upload content from TikTok because it won't reach as many people. There's also another reason why you shouldn't use content from TikTok. It's because TikTok's native screen size is full screen and only full screen, whereas Instagram kind of crops your video into a 4:5 to show on the feed. That's really frustrating, but it is the case. And it might be that you've created content for TikTok with writing at the top and the bottom, and that just simply isn't going to all get seen. It's going to crop the text. Frustratingly as well, Instagram also crops it slightly on the side as well when it's gone full screen. So it's kind of frustrating, but we're going to get into that later in the video. The point of this one is don't use content with the TikTok watermark in it because Instagram have directly said that that will reduce your reach. Now the next one kind of leads us onto the type of content that you should be creating to connect with new people. I would imagine that the majority of people actually are connecting with new people who don't know anything about them or anything about their content. But one really good way to connect with people who are brand new to your account are solving problems for them or teaching them something. So for example, some content that I made, I created a reel where I show you how to connect the tripod plate to the bottom of a camera without a tool. So there's a problem that a lot of people face. Now people who watched that, who connected with it, didn't need to know anything about me or anything about my content to relate to that content, and problem solving and teaching is a really good place to do that. So think about your niche, make a list of all of the different problems and day-to-day things that you kind of face and create content around that, and don't overthink it. Just create tiny little bits of content and make a lot of it and see what resonates with your audience. And this leads us on to the next point. So it's all well and good if you create content that people relate to, but if people don't watch your content all the way through, then your reel probably won't do as well as it could. A really great way to do this is to create suspense in your content. Let them understand that something is about to happen that they might care about. I think people's attention spans is getting shorter and shorter. And if you can hold someone, I think suspense is more exciting than delivering what the content is about straight away. So let's jump outside of photography for a second, because I know that a lot of you are not photographers. A way of creating suspense might be, filming your feet and saying, I always get funny looks when I wear this outfit. So they know that you're gonna look up at the mirror and reveal your outfit, whatever that is, That's not necessarily good content on paper, but just when they see something like, people always give me funny looks when I wear this, you know that you kind of want to know what it is. Another one within photography niche might be, I always take this bit of gear in my camera bag. Whatever piece of gear it is probably isn't that exciting, but to not know what it is really makes you want to watch the rest of it. So try and find ways to create suspense in your content and lead up to a moment where something is revealed, but make sure you deliver on the promise as well. Make sure that it is still good content, but that you have created suspense within it. Okay, so this leads us on to our next one. We've created content that people can relate to, and we found a way to get them to watch all the way through by creating suspense. The next thing that we want to do is to get them to engage with it, and specifically want to try and make them save it. Now, Reels are really good for saves for particular niches, and the type of content that makes you want to save it is something that you want to refer back to. Probably the most potent of these is within the fitness industry, and that is, workout routines. In fact, I think the things that I save the most on Instagram are, fitness things. I think, yeah, that's a nice set of, exercises that I'll probably want to try at some point, so I'm going to hit save. And I've got a whole list of them that I can refer to. That's a really, really great way to create savable content. Another one would be, within food, would be recipes or how to do this and how to do that. So you're noticing that educational content a particular set of it is actually really savable. So when you're creating your content, think to yourself, okay, what would make this more savable? What would make this something that someone would want to refer back to? And you could even add in a little call to action to say, save this for later. I kind of think those are a bit on the nose and kind of devalue the content a little bit. It may, a good way to look at it is that it's trying a bit too hard, but give it a go, see if it works for your audience. So we've already talked about how Instagram have said that you shouldn't have watermarks in your content and therefore not bringing it across from TikTok. Now there is also a lot of people talking about how they are seeing better results from content created directly within Reels. So that's not uploading a video, but that is creating content in Reels. Now there's two reasons that this could be happening. Number one is that Instagram want you to use their interface and they don't want you to be editing it on an editor and then bringing the video in directly. But I think that there's something else at play here, and it could be that people are ad blind. They when they see an advert, they'll swipe away from it. And people associate high quality video with adverts. So when you create content that's like really shot on really nice cameras and things like that, people might just think it's an ad and swipe. Whereas when they see something created with a phone, it's more relatable. It's more the type of content that people are expecting, and they're going to watch it because they think someone's made it rather than a company has paid to place it. So there's a few different reasons why it might be better to be making your Reels directly in Reels with your phone. And I think it drives that kind of TikTok creativity that people expect from Reels. So put simply, if you've been making lots of Reels using a camera and uploading video from different places, or creating slideshows and things and uploading the video, maybe try making it directly in the Reels app and see whether you get any better results. I know that I have, and I can see why. Now another mistake I see people make all the time is that they get some success with some content and then they make that content really repetitive. I think this kind of works better on TikTok, making the same kind of content. It's just the way that it's delivered, it works better than it does on Instagram Reels. So I would be careful to be creating the same type of content over and over again, because people will get used to it and they will just swipe away from it. And the more that people do that, the less people will see your content, and it will just be this sort of downward curve. If you can just try and mix it up a lot, so maybe pick 3 types of content that you're going to make and mix those around so that people, kind of just unsure of what you're going to do next. You still want to get that consistency, so you're still working within your niche and you're still entertaining people or teaching people, but you aren't just repeating the same sort of thing over and over again, because I think you'll get diminishing returns. And the next point, and we've talked about this a lot, make it personal, because there is only one of you. You can try and copy all sorts of different people, but really you will get the best results when you start really sharing your personality with your followers. And this is actually a really difficult thing to do. It takes a lot to put yourself on camera to start talking. I remember the first time I sat in front of this camera and started talking, it felt really weird and I didn't like it. And I've been on stage for like half of my life as a musician, so it should feel comfortable, but it didn't. So if you can break that barrier and start sharing more and more personal content about you and you sharing it, you're ahead of the competition, because most people can't do it. It's too scary. I sympathize for anyone who really wants to do it but hasn't quite jumped in yet. So all I want to say in this is, if you're feeling like you want to share your personality, just dive in, share what you want to share, and deal with it afterwards. Deal with the nervousness and don't worry about any negative comments. Just go for it and see how it feels, and I promise you won't look back. So the next point, this is a mistake that I made in some of my early Reels, and I've already talked about this in another video, but be really careful with on-screen text, because Instagram Reels get cropped in all sorts of different ways. For example, you can view them full screen, and you can view them in the feed, and the feed crops it to kind of a 4:5 ratio crop, just like the biggest type of photo that you can get. And what sometimes happens is your text is at the very top, much like you put in a story, and that gets cut in half. Or, frustratingly, for some reason, if you put it right at the edge, when you're looking at it full screen, it actually kind of crops it in slightly. I don't know what the exact number is there, but it does crop it in slightly. And I don't know whether Instagram will fix this at some point, but I would make sure that you're keeping your text pretty central, not right at the top and not right at the edge. Just keep it right in the middle. You can do a few tests, just share a few Reels with the text all over the place, and you'll start to realize those different safe areas. But you don't often see your own Reel on the feed, you see it full screen. So just remember that your Reel is going to get cropped and that your text needs to be in a nice safe area. And as I said, that's another reason not to share TikTok content to Reels, because of that crop on the feed. Now, the next thing we need to think about is who is your audience and what do they want to see? The really good thing with Reels is at the moment is if you create really good content, it's highly likely that it's going to reach lots of people. It's a much fairer algorithm than the standard algorithm that is sharing all your photos and all that sort of stuff. Reels really do reach much more people, but you still have to be making good content. I think as humans, we kind of have this urge to share stuff about ourselves without really thinking about how that's going to come across on the other end. You need to think about who is my audience member and how is the content that I'm making going to be useful, relevant, or entertaining to them. So think about your content, and when you're making it, really think about the person on the other end and how your content is going to reach them and why they would be interested in it. I'm not saying don't share content about yourself. You might be awesome and loads of people might care about anything that you do. I'm just saying understand your audience and understand what it is about your content that they are going to find useful. And once you kind of do that, you know the framework that you need to work in to get the most out of your kind of creative content. And that kind of leads us on to the next point, which is gaining followers with Instagram Reels. I'm seeing loads of people talking about how they're getting loads and loads of views, but they're not getting lots of followers. Now, if you think about the way that Instagram Reels are delivered, it's not really surprising. For example, on YouTube, you want to watch a video, you click on it, and then right down the bottom there is a subscribe button, which I think you should hit, by the way. But it's really easy to see and it's really obvious. It's just there, look. But when you're looking at Instagram Reels, you need to go into the profile and you need to go and hit the follow button, and it's kind of difficult to do. So you need to find other ways to prompt them to do it. Now, you could just do a simple call to action and say, hey, follow me, but that doesn't really work too well. For example, if you're creating tips for photography, you could say, there are more tips on my profile, go and take a look. That prompts them to go and have a look at your profile where there is a nice big juicy follow button that they could tap. Similarly, if you're doing fitness workouts or food recipes, say, hey, I got way more recipes on my profile, go and take a look. And again, it just prompts them to go near the follow button without even hitting it. You could also say, you want more workouts, want more tips and tricks, hit the follow button for more. This is what's called a call to action. And you don't want to just say, hey, follow me, follow me, follow me. Because again, like the previous point, we're thinking about ourselves. We want to think about them. What are they going to get when they hit the follow button? So tell them what they're going to get and ask them to follow the button. Follow the button, hit the follow button. And the next point, and this is going to seem really rich coming from me, seeing as I've just fired off a load of overthinking at you. And the point is, don't overthink it. Instagram Reels is supposed to be fun, social media is supposed to be fun, and people don't want to see you just, putting together really serious content. They want to see you having a good time. They want to see you, enjoying and being passionate about what you do. So don't overthink your content. Put out loads of content, see what works, and do more of that. It could be for you that some of the things I've said are actually contrary, and maybe people do want to see lots about you, and you don't need to be quite so heavy on the making it useful for them. Don't overthink it. Take what I've said, kind of apply it to what you do and see what works within your niche, because only you know your audience and only you know the type of content that you want to make. But just share your passion and share your enthusiasm for what it is that you do and share your personality. And as I said, don't overthink it. So if you found this useful, hit the like button. I won't ask you to subscribe because you should have already done that a few minutes ago. And if you did, I will see you in the next video.